Welcome, viewers, to episode 67 of the ForensicWeek.com show, brought to you by ForensIQ Incorporated. I'm your host, Tom Moriello, CEO of ForensIQ and professor at the University of Maryland Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice in downtown College Park, Maryland. Tonight, what college program is best for you? Is it criminology, criminal justice, law, pre-law, criminalistics, or, of course, forensic sciences? What about an associate's degree, or a bachelor's degree, or both? How do these programs prepare you for a career in law enforcement or forensic science? Tonight, we are honored to have two educators. We had three, but unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, one of them, Professor Mike Bouchard, was unable to connect in. So we, first of all, want to thank him for agreeing to be on the show, and unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, he had to shut down. Tonight we have two other educators who represent these types of programs that we were talking about, who will provide the answers and guidance you will need to make those decisions. But first, let me introduce the ForensicWeek.com student crew. Our producer, Laura Pachuki, a graduate student from the George Washington University Department of Forensic Sciences, and my two University of Maryland undergraduate students, Mercedes Quick, who's a criminal justice student, former student of my class and now an intern, who is writing blog items of interest for the Forensic IQ website called Forensic IQ Update, and Jamal Francis, also an undergraduate student in sociology, who shares the producer duties with Laura and more importantly has been creating an all-new webpage for the show that will make it easier for you, the viewers, to reach our show and find content from archived shows. Folks, you're watching ForensicWeek.com, a talk show that features real forensic science by real forensic scientists, educators, law enforcement, and legal professionals who find, collect, and examine forensic evidence in the performance of their duties. Broadcast live right on your desktop and mobile devices bi-weekly on Thursday evenings, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on our YouTube channel, www.forensicweek.com. We are a proud member of the Hangout10.com live TV webcast network, which is a series of shows brought to you live using Google+, a social networking service. Before I ask Laura to talk to you about how to ask questions, etc., I want to bring Jamal Francis on to tell you, our listeners, how after this show tonight, how when you go to www.forensicweek.com, you're going to see a little different picture, a different page, and he's going to explain it. Jamal?
Sure. Thanks, Tom. So essentially what's going to happen is ForensicWeek.com is going to take you to Tom's main website. From there, you'll be able to see a little bit more about the crew, about the cast that helps put the show together. And you'll have to click on the Forensic Week logo in order to see more of the archive videos and to see more of the videos from the blog.
Jamal, question. To see the live show, I know that when at 7 o'clock on Thursdays when the show is live, there's something different on the YouTube page. So I guess when they hit, basically when they hit the logo, it brings them to back where they used to be anyways, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So once they click on the logo, it'll take them right back to that home YouTube page.
Yeah. Laura, while I'm talking a little bit, can you get that up for us? Laura's going to get that up for us. And the idea was, when you would go right to the YouTube channel, we couldn't even provide you with any information or information on the next show coming up or anything like that. It just is each one of the shows and the description of that particular show. This way, we can communicate with you. We can tell you what's going on, what's happening in the future, what new guests we're going to have. And if you're new to the show and you want to learn a little bit more about the show, on that page, it gives you detail. And if you're interested in learning more about Forensic IQ, there it is right there. If you're interested in learning more about Forensic IQ, that's it. Go to the webcast there. Okay, that's the page you're going to see. And when you go to hit the logo, ForensicWeek.com logo, then it brings you right to where you need to go. So you're going to see that new look sometime later on this evening, right, Jamal?
Yep, we'll have it up and running after the show.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that. Okay, Laura, will you please tell our viewers how they can ask questions and get more information?
Sure. Thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone, and thank you for watching ForensicWeek.com. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future shows, please email us at forensicweek@gmail.com. If you're watching this show live and you have a question for one of our guests, you can use the comment box below, and we'll bring that up and ask on air. You can also tweet us at ForensicWeek, and if you like this episode, please click the subscribe button on YouTube. You can watch all archive shows 24/7 online at forensicweek.com. You can also find us on Facebook by searching the ForensicWeek.com show. Like and share our page. Thanks, and back to you, Tom.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this show tonight is not only for students in high school and trying to decide exactly where they want to go if they're interested in some aspect of criminology, criminal justice, forensic science, but it's also for those parents who are constantly calling and asking questions at the university about to help their children out and knowing what to do and where to go. In the past, we've talked about forensic science graduate programs. Today we're going to focus on the other type programs, the associate degree programs and the bachelor's degree programs, because this evening we have two educators who are going to be able to help us with that. And you're going to hear about the University of Maryland Shady Grove, which is a very unique program that focuses on a place for people in their junior and senior year. So in other words, they've already started a college career, maybe in a community college or maybe another school someplace else, and they now want to move to the University of Maryland. I first want to introduce Laura Ellsworth. Professor Ellsworth, I've been trying to get Laura on this show since the show began. She's a busy person. I remember when Laura was a student of mine way back when, a long time ago, and now she is the chair of the Prince George's Community College program. The program is called the Public Safety and Law Department, and she's been the chair since 2006. The department focuses on a broad field of criminal justice, including forensic science, paralegal, legal studies, corrections, fire science, and in cybercrime investigations. Prior to coming to PG Community College, she served as a forensic sciences technician, an evidence technician as we call them, for Baltimore County Police Department. She has taught academic courses for over 14 years. I know she doesn't look that old, but in criminal justice, criminal investigation, criminal law, criminalistics, in forensic sciences. I'm going to ask you later on, Laura, the difference between criminalistics and forensic science, because nobody has given me a good answer yet, including Dr. Saperstein, who's written more books on criminalistics and forensic science than anybody in the world. A little bit more about Laura. She began her teaching career at Community College of Baltimore County back in 2000. Also has been a University where she taught graduate courses in forensic science from 2004 to 2012. Both Laura and myself are graduates of the forensic science program at GW. During the past 12 years at PG Community College, she has created programs, written curriculum, presented workshops, and taught and provided in-service training components for the Prince George's County Municipal Police Academy, which is actually located on her campus. She holds a degree of Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice and Sociology at the University of Maryland College Park campus, and as I mentioned, her degree of Masters of Forensic Sciences from George Washington University. One more thing, she is co-author of a book with me called Criminal Investigation Handbook, Strategy, Law, and Science. Laura, thank you for being here this evening.
Very happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks to Laura, we had another gentleman, Professor Mike Bouchard from Cecil Community College, and he was already this evening, and for whatever reason, some type of IT problem, I believe at his end. It's easy to blame someone else and not. We don't think it's our side because everyone else is okay. But unfortunately, we tried all kinds of things. So, Mike, if you're listening, thank you. I'd love to have you on another time to tell us about your program at Cecil Community College. We also had another gentleman, Phil Newsom from Bowie State University. In the last minute, he wasn't able to do it, and they have a criminalistics lab over there. In fact, actually, a colleague of mine and a friend who worked with me at NSA, he actually created the lab initially and taught it for a few years. Rich Townsley, who's now in Seattle. So I'd like to know what's going on over there. Now, our last guest, Dr. Wendy Stickle. Wendy is the program director for the University of Maryland Universities at Shady Grove, and she's going to explain that a little bit to us. She teaches research methods, criminological theory, and also a forensic course. Wendy, thank you so much for coming. I was over your office a couple of days ago, and I told her about the program this evening. I said, you know, we really need to have you talk about Shady Grove. And just to start off things, Wendy, why don't you begin and give us a little bit more detail about what the University of Maryland, or the universities as it's called, Universities at Shady Grove is all about.
Sure, thanks Tom for having me. The Universities at Shady Grove is a very unique consortium of institutions in Maryland. It's a model that is being done now all over the country, I believe, but we've been very successful here at creating a campus where we have majors from, I think 9, but I could be wrong on that, maybe even more institutions from Maryland. So you have all the public institutions in Maryland, four-year schools, or almost all of them, having programs here at the Universities at Shady Grove. University of Maryland, Baltimore County has some majors out here. Bowie does, University of Maryland, Baltimore, and so on. College Park is fortunate enough to have 5 programs here at the Universities at Shady Grove, and criminology and criminal justice is one of them. So what the model out here is that students are completing their first 2 years of school at a community college, and there's a lot of benefits to, and I'm sure our other guests can discuss that further, but there's a lot of benefits about completing a degree at a community college and then moving on to a 4-year school to start to complete a bachelor's degree. Financially, it can be more advantageous. You're going to get smaller class sizes, whereas if you go to a place like the University of Maryland in those first 2 years, you're going to experience some pretty large classes, and I bet our students here can know what I'm talking about. So that gives you that kind of smaller atmosphere experience, and then when you come here to Shady Grove, you're getting a University of Maryland College Park degree in criminology and criminal justice, and you're only paying that Maryland tuition for 2 years. Of course, it's typically in-state. I think right now most of my students are in-state. We have about 130 students in our program, so all of those students are experiencing small class sizes, about 40 students to 50 tops in their classes. In College Park, they're going to get larger classes, and a lot of personal attention here, while at the same time getting the amenities that you get at any 4-year school or community college, library, cafe, student services, academic support, financial aid support, and so on. So we're really excited to be able to offer the exact same degree that they offer in College Park with the same expectations in terms of grades, curriculum, and so on, but allowing students, especially especially here in Montgomery County, Maryland, and our surrounding areas, an opportunity to take classes that's a little bit less expensive due to fees out here at Shady Grove, and to get that same experience but in a smaller environment.
Okay, so I want to make this clear because it wasn't clear to me, and I've guest lectured at Shady Grove for several years. I guess I just didn't ask the right questions. So anybody in the state or out of state, you don't have to be from Montgomery County to go to that school, or Frederick County, correct?
No, in fact, I have a student who moved here from Texas to come to our program here at Shady Grove.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no housing here. You have to find your own housing, but yes, you can do that.
Is there a term used for this concept?
It's called, I've seen it being called a 2+2 pathway, where you do your first 2 years at a community college and then you finish up at a 4-year school. So I think a 2+2 pathway is probably what a lot of people may be familiar with.
Okay. All right. So we kind of went backwards. Now let's go to you, Laura, and tell us a little bit about PG Community College program, and then also, because we'd like you to kind of give us the bigger picture about why is an AA program a good path for certain students, what kind of students should be considering that, and so let's start that way.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me, Tom. I'm so glad to finally be on the show, and I will try to sort of answer everything that you just asked. As you mentioned before, my department is Public Safety and Law, which is an umbrella for 7 different areas, and they focus on, we have 8 associate degrees and we have 2 certificates in all the things that you've mentioned before. Our biggest program is criminal justice. We have about 1,000 total students in all of the 8 degree programs and 2 certificates. About 650 of those students are in criminal justice, so that's the majority of them.
That is a big program.
Yes, it's a very big program. It's the 5th largest one in the college. It's very big, and so we have a transfer associate's degree that is set up to transfer, and we also have an AAS degree that is set to be a terminal degree. But most of our students are in that transfer track, so they're going to get their associate's degree and all their courses are set up to transfer. So it's very beneficial, and as my colleague Wendy mentioned, it's very beneficial to our students. As a community college, we serve a very diverse population. Just to give you a little snapshot of our students, 93% of them are county residents, 62% are female, 73% are African American, and a vast majority, almost a quarter of them, are going part-time. Many of them are first generation college students, and 90% of them coming in, 90, it needs some sort of developmental classes. So we are teaching them those bridge classes in math and English and reading in order to get up to college level so they can take those college level courses and then go on and transfer. So we've got a lot on our plate.
Okay, so for those high school students who are interested in some aspect of criminal justice, criminology, forensic science, if their grades are not at a level that they're going to immediately get into a 4-year school, that is one main reason to go into a community college that will help them with those developmental courses. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. They can come to us, and then within the last year, we've also signed a dual enrollment agreement with the county. So any high school student who's over the age of 16 can come to us and take classes concurrently while they're enrolled in high school. Hugely beneficial. The county, Prince George's County Public Schools, pay the tuition for the students. So this is a kind of a big deal for us, and we're expecting an influx of maybe 2,000 students in the spring semester that are still in high school. This is going to really add to our population.
Now, I see a lot of your students at Maryland because they tell me a lot of them. Laura brings her class once a year. One of her classes, she brings them to our crime lab. So there's always several of them who were at that class, Laura, that are at Maryland now and ultimately take our course.
I'm very happy to hear that.
So the folks that want to go to either a university like Wendy's or any other four-year college, is it necessary for them to focus on getting the AA degree, or is it more important for them to take the developmental courses and the courses to prepare them for the major that they're ultimately looking for at the four-year degree?
Well, we always preach to them to definitely get their degree first, because a lot of times, things happen in life. Students have to withdraw from school, or they don't necessarily make it to the next level right away. We see a lot of that with our students. They're dealing with a lot of families, children, spouses, military, all kinds of things going on. So we encourage them to complete that associate's degree before they move on to the next level. Unfortunately, not all of them do it. We have quite a large number of students who don't complete, and they leave and transfer, because quite honestly, you're free to transfer at any time. But there are certain benefits that are being put in place now, scholarships, tuition money assistance, to keep them there and getting that associate degree before they move on.
I have an interesting question, and it's nice to have both you, Laura, and you, Wendy, because one of my daughters went to Howard County Community College and then went to University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And I kept telling her, watch what course she's taking, and to make sure that they would matriculate to the four-year degree, and don't let them just tell you, yeah, it's transferable, because being transferable and whether they're going to accept it are two different things.
Yes,
well, she didn't listen to me. You never listen to your father, so she didn't listen to me, and she finished up Howard Community College. She wanted to get the AA degree because that's the way she is. Even though I said that was less important than taking the right courses. So then she goes to UMBC, and she realized that a lot of her courses were not going to be accepted because of the major she was interested in. So she changed her major based on which major they would take the most credits in.
No.
I hate to admit that, but she did. And it was psychology, and she's doing very well right now. Not using psychology, but she wanted to get out in 4 years, and she did. So let me ask Wendy, and then I'll go back to Laura. Wendy, when you see people from the two-year programs come to you, is there a lot of loss of credits, or is there something they could do differently that you wish that they wish they knew earlier, or what?
Yeah, my primary population is transfer students, and we work very closely with them as soon as we can with these prospective students who want to transfer to the University of Maryland. We really do encourage them to get their AA, especially more recently with the University of Maryland changing their general education requirements. All of the community colleges in Maryland have a relationship with the four-year institutions, and students who get their AA, or at a minimum complete the general education requirements for their community college, are going to be able to come to University of Maryland with that general education package complete. So if they get here and they have their gen ed from Montgomery College or PG or wherever, even if it's not the same general education courses that College Park takes, they still will be marked as complete and waived from any other general education requirements minus professional writing that they need. So the focus for a transfer student really needs to be on getting that general education degree done, and then if they know what major they want, identifying what the lower level major requirements are for the major so that they are as efficient as possible in getting through those lower level courses while they're there at the community college. And then when they get to Maryland, they're going to be able to hit the ground running with their upper level and the primary requirements for the major, and not have to worry about taking that intro art class or taking that massive intro to psychology course.
Okay, Laura, do your students have to have a major? Is there a general degree program, or do they have to specialize in some particular major?
Oh, no, we definitely have majors, but we also have general studies as well. And a lot of students who are undecided choose the general studies track and really take nothing but general education courses. That way they can transfer to almost any degree that's not real highly specialized.
You know, yeah, I've had some students who've gone to a community college and they took a crime lab course. So when they come to the University of Maryland, they can't take my course and get credit for it. And
we've had some problems, especially in forensic science, and that's kind of a whole other issue. Most forensic science programs don't want students to take any forensic science courses at the undergraduate level. They want to teach all of them at the upper 300 and 400 levels. So we have had a lot of problems in that area, and that's the accreditation by the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, unfortunately. That's just how they've decided to accredit their programs.
You find that also with medical schools and dental, a lot of health programs also with the hard sciences wanting them at the four-year institution.
My concern with that, and I've argued this. In fact, Laura, remember when I was trying to talk? I think I was talking to Ted Robinson or whatever, and I thought it was GW's rules, and then I found out it was the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. When Laura and I went through a forensic program, we took it not because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, but we didn't want to be scientists working in the laboratory. We wanted to be practitioners, but we wanted to have a good basis of forensic science to make us better practitioners. Now, I wanted to be an investigator. Laura went into the technician area. I thought that was good. Then all of a sudden, American Academy of Forensic Science changed the rules and said, "No, sorry, you can't go through that program anymore unless you have a." How many science credits do you have to have, Laura?
It's quite a few in chemistry and biology, and it's way above our level. It's like 3 or 4 semesters. It's a lot of science, and quite honestly, in my opinion, it's more than a crime scene technician would need. If you're going to be a bench scientist, a chemist or biologist, that's fine. You're going to need all that science, but you don't necessarily need that as a crime scene technician. And right now, the American Academy is not making that distinction in their programs.
Yeah, well, they're pretty rigid in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I have an interesting story. This past week, one of my former students, she's a criminal justice major, and she took my course last spring. She enjoyed it, and all of a sudden she wanted to get in. She wants to get into forensic sciences, but she wants to go to grad school, but she can't get into a grad school program in forensic science because of what we just said. So what she's doing, and Wendy, this is kind of interesting, what she's doing is she's going to Prince George's Community College, and she met with Laura just last week, and this was a coincidence, and she's going to go to and get an AA in forensic sciences or hard science, Laura. Which one?
She got her undergraduate criminal justice, her associates in criminal justice from us, and then she transferred to College Park where she's finishing her bachelor's. But she's coming back because after taking your class, of course, she has decided, as you said, she wants to be in forensic science, but she can't get into a graduate program. She really just needs to come back and take some chemistry courses, some biology courses, and a couple forensic science courses. It's 8 classes, really. It's not even.
So that's another great reason why AA programs are a great resource for students, and then she'll be able to get into the graduate program. All right, let's. It's 7:31 already, so what I want to do is take a quick break, and I'm going to ask Mercedes to do her report. And when we come back, let's talk about the different kinds of programs. We have criminology, criminal justice, we have pre-law, we have legal studies. Corrections. This confuses a lot of students in what direction and what career field they go to. So maybe Laura and Wendy, we can kind of clear that up a little bit. How's that?
Sounds good.
So, okay, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mercedes Quick here, our intern, who has been busy doing a number of things. She's been working on papers that because we're getting near the end of the semester, and also she has been doing some writing some abstracts for the Forensic IQ blog. When Mercedes, you had a number of them. I picked 4 that I thought were important. Let's talk about that Searchy training that for 2015. Tell us a little bit about that Searchy training. It's all free, correct?
It's not all free. They do have they do sponsor some classes, but there is fees for some of them as well. The ones that they sponsor are fingerprinting classes, impression classes, footwear impressions, and digital forensics. Those are all ones that they sponsor. Ones that actually do cost are the evidence collection course, blood stain patterns, crime scene photographs, as well as advanced crime scene photograph technique.
Okay, so which ones are free and which ones you have to pay for?
The ones that they sponsor are the free classes.
Okay, so obviously the ones that are free are the ones that teach you how to use their equipment. That's pretty good. So those of you out there who are practitioners who again have trouble getting training money, go to Searchy Laboratories website and see about a lot of their webinars that are free. I get emails all the time from them. So and they're a good organization. They've been around for a long time, and I know a lot of those folks over there, and they really know their business. Fingerprints in adverse conditions. That's an article that you did a little bit on. Tell us about that.
Okay, they just gave us examples of different conditions where they would take fingerprints. For example, in a hot car, they say in a hot car you want to let the heat out, open doors, as well as move the car into a garage to cool it off.
What if a car is got 10 feet of snow all around it? Does it talk about that?
Well, in a cold condition, they say try to just warm the surface that you're trying to get the fingerprints. So you don't necessarily have to warm the entire car, just the area where you're trying to get the fingerprints.
All right, so for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more about fingerprints in adverse conditions, go to the Forensic IQ blog and see that article, and Mercedes brings you to the full article to see more about it. Running the world's only forensic animal crime lab. You know, we've had several shows on animal investigations, animal abuse. Tell us about this forensic animal crime lab that's supposed to be the only one in the world.
Okay, this crime lab is in Oregon. It's ran by the director, Ken Goldar. He's been running the lab for 7 years. He actually helps federal agencies and inspectors who are trying to protect endangered animals, and also take down wildlife traffickers.
All right. So this is, are they a federal laboratory?
I don't think they're a federal laboratory, but they do help federal agencies.
Okay. All right. So anybody that has a unique requirement could contact them. All right. And research aims to assist forensic investigations. What's that one?
Let me see. Okay. They actually got a grant to potentially speed up the paint sample processing with infrared spectral data.
And that's something they can do at the scene?
Not at the scene. They just they're able to use like a clear paint with the paint sample that will, and his algorithm to actually speed up the process. His goal is actually to identify 30 samples in 2 days. So he wants to make it where they can narrow down the process faster.
Okay, so those of you who might be interested in cases with automobile paint analysis, looks like there's some research being done to make it faster, more accurate, etc. So you might want to look at that article. Okay. Again, Mercedes, thank you. Continue to go out there and see what other things are happening out there. We appreciate it very much. Those of you who want to see those articles or others in the Forensic IQ blog, just go to ForensicIQinc.com and just hit the blog tab, and you'll be able to see. My God, I think we have over 100 of them there right now. So we try to keep you up on whatever's new. Okay, thank you very much, Laura and Wendy. Let's start off with criminology, because everybody confuses criminology. Everybody thinks criminology is the big umbrella for all these other things, and it really isn't. Criminology is unique, and it needs to be understood. So why don't you tell us, seeing that you got your PhD in criminology, why don't you tell us a little bit about that program, and then how it relates to your program at Shady Grove?
Sure. Criminology, those are one of the questions I ask at orientation. Who knows the difference between criminology and criminal justice? And about half of them know it and half of them don't. But criminology is the study of crime. Why does crime occur? What are the correlates of crime? Correlates meaning what kind of personal characteristics, family characteristics, environmental characteristics can be used to predict whether a crime is going to occur, either at a macro level in the environment, in the community, or of the likelihood of an individual to commit crime. The criminal justice component of our program is really focused on how our criminal justice system operates and what are some of the issues or challenges our criminal justice system faces. The University of Maryland, I think, has an ideal program in that it offers the degree that you receive as an undergraduate or as a master's degree or a PhD is a degree in criminology and criminal justice. So you are taking about equal amounts of required coursework in both the criminology side, understanding the theories behind crime. These theories borrow from sociology, biopsychology, psychology, and other disciplines. But you're getting equal parts that, as well as an understanding of our criminal justice system, a courts class, a policing class, and so on. So any undergraduates in my program or at the University of Maryland are lucky enough to be coming out of their education with a good, solid understanding of both criminology and criminal justice. One thing you may not be getting, though, and if you're going to consider this degree, is it doesn't require that science. So you are going to be at a loss when it comes to applying to forensic sciences programs if you decide to major in criminology and criminal justice.
Okay. What type of careers, people who are interested specifically in criminology, and criminology is kind of psychology and sociology put together, because you're looking at individual and group behavior. What kind of jobs are people getting who are more focused on the criminology side of the
I think
bench?
People who are really interested in criminology can really go into any job in the field of criminal justice. Having an understanding of why crime occurs is going to help you as a police officer. But more specifically, those who like criminology generally like research, like the study of crime and asking questions and understanding why something's going on. So a lot of them are going to end up going to graduate school and getting degrees in a PhD or whatever and doing research or teaching. But victim advocacy involves a lot of criminology, understanding, for example, the cycle of violence, understanding why people who are victims often go on to continue to be victims or victimize others. There's a criminological explanation for that. And having an understanding of that explanation is going to help somebody who works with victims be better and be more sensitive in their job to recognizing what risk factors that victim is going to face moving forward.
I would say that folks who are interested in probation and parole and possibly corrections would do well in the criminology field, would you not?
I would absolutely say that. I would say people who want to be police officers would do well, understanding what's going on in a community, what the risk factors are in a community. If you're the police chief and you need to distribute resources, you need to have a good understanding of what risk factors you're looking at, what a community looks like, and how you want to distribute those resources. So understanding the causes of crime is going to be very helpful in any field in criminal justice.
I've said this before in the show. In my undergraduate program was in the sociology department, and it was purely criminology, and I was somewhat disappointed in it because I couldn't get a sense, because I wasn't a police officer yet. I said, okay, I don't really care why people commit crime. I just want to catch them, you know. But when I became an investigator, when I was trying to understand who may have committed this crime and why, all of a sudden, those theories, those criminological theories that I remembered studying in undergraduate school became important. So you're absolutely correct. I now agree, but I had to go through the process to learn that. Very good. All right, Laura, tell us a little bit about your criminal justice program. What kind of courses, Laura, are you offering in the criminal justice sequence?
We have quite a wide variety, actually. We have some that are required, our intro class, our community policing class, and as of the last 2 years, our ethics class. Those are the 3 required courses. And then in our AA transfer program, they're going to take 3 more classes. They're going to take criminal law, criminal investigation, and criminal evidence and procedure. In the AAS degree, they're going to take several more criminal justice, because that's a terminal degree. They're not necessarily going to go on and transfer. So they're also going to take juvenile delinquency, and they have some elective choices too. And some of our electives include management, victimology and violence, terrorism and biosecurity. And then we also have, for our AAS degree, our terminal degrees, our students have to take a capstone course. The ones who are transferring do not, because it's assumed that they're going to take a capstone course in their bachelor's degree.
Those who are in the terminal program, terminal meaning that they're going to spend 2 years, get their degree, and stop, is that what you mean by that?
Yes, exactly.
Are they getting jobs in the criminal justice field?
They are, and quite honestly, in the public safety umbrella of law enforcement, corrections, the fire and EMS department, right now, at least in Prince George's County, they don't even need a degree at all. They can go right from high school. So sometimes it's a tough sell getting them to even stay there and get that degree. But we have to keep telling them that those professions are trying to increase their level of education. They want a more professional workforce. And if they want to move up in the rank structure of any public safety agency, they're going to need a degree. We also have articulation agreements with the police academies, with the corrections academies, and with the fire EMS departments. So students entering into there who complete those academies get credits that they can then transfer and bring to us. They get 18 credits from the police academy, they get 18 credits from the fire EMS academy, and they get 9 credits from the Department of Corrections Academy that are then converted into academic credits that can go towards their degree. So those are pretty popular agreements with us.
Tell our viewers a little bit about these academy programs that are on your campus.
On our campus, we have what is called the Public Safety and Security Institute, which is the Prince George's County Municipal Police Academy. And for those of you who are not familiar with Prince George's County, it's a little bit different from other counties in that it has, gosh, I don't know how many now, it's around 20-some, 30 municipalities, very small cities that each have their own police force. It's a little bit different from somewhere like Howard County, which has one county police force. There's no little municipalities. All these municipalities used to be trained at the Prince George's County Police Academy until an agreement was made some time ago, and an academy was established on our campus to train all of the sort of feed officers into these academies. So the academy on our campus And just so the viewers know also, all police academies in Maryland, their curriculum is state mandated by the Maryland Police Correctional Training Commission. And so anywhere you go in the state of Maryland, any academy that you are is sponsored by them, you're going to get the same certification. It's state mandated. It's different from other states. All other states are not like that. Ours on campus, you have the difference between being hired by, say, Prince George's County is when you're hired by them, you're an employee going into their academy and you're being paid. For our police academy, you have to pay your way through it, which is just short of $4,000. And you know, you're not working, so some of the students in there are also holding down other jobs while they're in there. But once they graduate from that academy, not only do they have the Maryland Police certification and they can be hired by any law enforcement agency, but they also have 18 college credits.
So you're telling me that a student can pay for that training,
Yes.
get certified by the Maryland Police and Corrections Training Commission, and then offer that is great, because you know I've had students want to go to a polygraph, want to be a polygraph examiner, so they want to go and pay to go to a polygraph training academy, but nobody allows that, and it doesn't happen, and it wouldn't happen. But that's good to know. Wendy, let's say one of Laura's students went through that academy and they offered X amount of credits over and above. Would that matriculate to your program?
No, generally not. UMUC is a little bit more lenient in using professional credits, professional trainings, but we generally do not accept those credits when you're transferring to the University of Maryland.
Well, actually they do, because they're converted into the same criminal justice courses. So on the student's transcript, it's as if they've taken criminal law. It doesn't say it came from the academy. It's different than professional credit. So by the time Wendy sees the transcript, all it says is the student took criminal law. It doesn't say whether they took it in the academy or not.
Is that through PG Community College then?
Yes.
Yes.
Their credits are like from the academy to us. We convert them in. Getting this, they don't know where this training is coming from because we convert it into academic.
So that would be a unique situation, but students who are going and taking credits specifically for becoming a firefighter or some other EMT courses, things like that, those type of credits would not transfer. But in this case, like Laura is describing, if it's something going through the community college, then yeah, you're right, it would transfer. If it's on a community college transcript, not transferred credit into the community college.
Exactly.
Okay. Laura, paralegal and legal studies.
Yes.
I know what a paralegal is. Basically, it's an administrative support to a lawyer that has some training to do a little bit more. My wife went through the University of Maryland University College program back in the late 70s. Now, are you separating paralegal from legal studies, or is all one thing?
Paralegal and legal studies are the same, but that's separate from our pre-law program. Our paralegal program is one of those terminal AAS degrees that does prepare students to really go out in the community and get a paralegal position anywhere, in government and private business. Almost anywhere has a legal office. You know, schools have legal offices. And it prepares them to do that, and we have a great partnership with the state's attorney's office in Prince George's County where they do internships as well. Our pre-law program is much more of a general education, liberal arts, social science mix of a degree that prepares them to go on and finish their bachelor's degree in a number of different fields. It could be political science, it could be history, it could be English, to prepare them for law school, because as you know, it doesn't really matter what major you have to go to law school. They can pretty much major in anything for law school.
Yeah, Laura, periodically I have students who say that they're in the pre-law program. What does that mean? That's not a department, right, at Maryland?
I'm not aware that Maryland has one, no. A couple schools have programs around One that I'm aware of is the University of Baltimore. They have a jurisprudence program, which is very similar, and they also have an agreement where if you have the grades and the GPA, you can also complete your first year of law school during your fourth year, your senior year of college. They have sort of an agreement like that. But pre-law programs in and of themselves at the bachelor's level are pretty rare. So that's why ours, the credits in it will transfer, but the pre-law students at our school may not necessarily transfer to a pre-law program. They may go on and be criminal justice students. They may go on and be political science. Most of the classes in there are general education classes that will transfer.
Okay.
So Maryland
Wendy?
does have a pre-law advising office, and they can help a student figure out what kind of supporting coursework would be helpful, and what direction to go in. They help especially with preparing for LSATs, picking the right law schools to apply for, because there are a lot of things to consider when applying to law school beyond just going to Harvard. There's a lot of things to consider, specifically what kind of job you want to get when you're done. Do you really need to take on the loans of a private school? Should you be looking at public schools? So the Pre-Law Advising Center at the University of Maryland, it's relatively new, and it is fantastic. And when you have students saying that they're in the pre-law program, it's really that they're probably working with that program. There really isn't a specific major, as Laura was saying, at Maryland. They are in political science. They're in everything. But we have several. Criminology and criminal justice is obviously a very popular major for students who want to go to law school.
Yeah, we have a program at the university in College Park, and I forget the name of it, and I'm embarrassed because their office is right next to the crime lab, where they can create their own major. They literally create their own major, and I got a chance to mentor one, and he wasn't sure whether he wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and he liked forensics. Well, forensics is a combination of medical school and law school. So he created a curriculum for himself and got it approved by the university, and they actually called it a forensic. He got a University of Maryland degree in forensic studies or something because of this special program. And he's now a lawyer, by the way. He decided to go be a lawyer. Went to Boston University to become a lawyer, and I hear from him all the time, and he's doing really well. So, and you know, a lot of universities, Maryland students don't even know that exists.
Right.
Laura, did you know about that program up at
No,
Maryland?
I think I know the student you're talking about. I remember him, but I did not know that was a regular occurrence, that you could actually do that. No, I did not.
Yeah, you apply for the program, and then you go out and find people like me to sponsor you. He had to have a sponsor in the forensic side, which was me, and then he had a sponsor in the hard science side, and he took a lot of criminal justice programs, etc. So it was pretty good. Laura, it sounds like you've got a lot of students to keep you busy.
Indeed, I do. Yes, quite a few. I do a lot of.
Wendy, how about you? Are you at numbers that you're satisfied with? Is the program there in Montgomery County trying to get bigger, or what?
We're always trying to grow. We are at about 100 and almost just under 130 students right now. There's always a balance. We seem to be graduating them a little bit quicker than we had been previously, which is a fantastic statistic to have, but then there's always that hitting the ground running, trying to get more students. We really do focus, though, on high-quality students, but we take a special consideration here of transfer students and the unique struggles that they have. A lot of them are first-generation students, first generation to go to college, and we really do take a special focus and a special advising. I only have 130 students, but I only have myself and a part-time staff person. So, you know, it's all relative in the number of students you have. So I feel also like I have a lot of students, but I have a fantastic staff person who does all of our most of my recruitment for me. So we create a recruitment plan, and she's our coordinator and works directly with going out to all of the community colleges in the area, but also meeting every week. She's meeting with multiple students, either at the community colleges or here on our campus at Shady Grove, prospective students, and working with them to determine what they need to be taking to get into our program, what's the most efficient way to do it is, talking about GPA, talking about how we can increase GPAs if that's what needs to happen, or get scholarships. Shady Grove has infinitely more scholarship money than University of Maryland College Park, even for transfer students. We gave about $800,000 worth of transfer money this past semester to transfer students here at Shady Grove. So it's really a unique place, but they still get all the benefits of the University of Maryland, which is really an important component to a program like this.
What do you want to tell either viewers who are watching us live or those who watch us in our archive channel about why they should consider Shady Grove in the future?
I think, Shady Grove is a unique place, and it works for some and it doesn't work for others. First of all, location-wise, for this campus, it makes the most sense to be living in Montgomery County, Howard, or North. Students at PG Community College, it probably does make more sense to go to the main campus, unless you're looking for a small environment. I think my message, more than trying to recruit more students for my program, which I would certainly love, is to make sure that students know. The topic of this show is a fantastic topic, because we get inundated with students who want to come and do forensics, and they get a year in and they figure out, even though I've told them, this isn't a forensics program. And so I think it's really important for students to really think about, what do they want to do? What is their ultimate goal? What are their career goals? And if they don't know what that is, then that's fine. But if they do know and they can articulate that, making sure they're going into a program that's going to prepare them for whatever graduate coursework they're going to need to do. And I work with social work programs and forensic psychology master's programs, making sure we do have the prereqs for those types of programs. So we do offer some types of forensic preparation for moving forward, but those hard sciences, it's really important for a student to think about, do they want to do that as they keep moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Laura, same question to you.
Community colleges like us, we are the best deal in town. You're going to pay 1/3 or 1/4 of what tuition is at four-year schools. I think we mentioned some of this earlier. You're going to be in smaller classes. I have a faculty that is outstanding. There's 8 of us full-time. There's 20 of us part-time. About 3/4 of them are still practitioners in the field. So you're going to be taught by judges and lawyers and crime scene technicians, police officers, parole agents, everything under the spectrum. We have them. I've had the opportunity to sit and observe these people, and I'm amazed that our judges let our students come and sit on the bench with them, literally on the bench, not just in the courtroom. So they're great opportunities. We have a lot of academic support for all of our students coming in who might not quite be ready for college. But we're there to support them and help them along the way. We have a ton of scholarship money to send them on to four-year schools. So
Laura,
we're really a good deal.
Laura, I appreciate it very much, and you are doing a great job down there. I've had the opportunity to visit a few times. I want to thank you and Wendy. I think that you provided some great content for students, and in fact, now I have an opportunity when I'm going to high schools and they're asking me the kinds of questions that we dealt with. I can just send them to this episode, and they're going to be able to hear the words of wisdom of both you, Laura, and you, Wendy. And I apologize to Michael. Technology is the way it is, and we would have loved to have him, and we will have him soon. So I want to thank both of you for being on the show, and hopefully in the future we can have you again. So thank you both, Laura and Wendy. Before we leave, let me just say to you, our next show, December 4th, is going to be on the polygraph. Now, we've had 2 shows in the past, episodes 7 and 8 I give a big picture of what the polygraph is, what it isn't, how it works, etc. What I wanted to do is invite some polygraph examiners from around the country, members of the American Polygraph Association, and a few others, members of the companies who make the polygraph. We had a number of people scheduled, and we're finalizing our guest list, but Mark Zaid, who's an attorney in Washington who defends people who are having difficulties with the polygraph or have failed polygraphs while having a clearance. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to do the best we can to get a good panel of examiners who are in the business, who are examiners, and who are administrators in that area. So that's December 4th. December 18th, I'm very happy to say that we are going to have and Laura, you're going to not laugh, but a forensic podiatrist on the show. The last show we had the president of the American Association of Identification, Laura, you're a member, and Steve. We talked about the association and the 16 different disciplines that they cover. One of them being forensic podiatry. I said, "What is that?" And I want to talk to somebody. So he mentioned a Dr. Wesley Vernon in England, who is a well-known forensic podiatrist. I've talked to him via email, and he's agreed to be on our show. So December 18th, for those of your students who like feet, they got to tune in, and we're going to learn about the identification aspects that are in shoes. A podiatrist can look at the gait of a suspect on video and identify certain individual characteristics. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's December 18th. Again, I want to thank Laura and excuse me, and Wendy for being on the show. And of course, our producer Laura Pachuki, who gets all these guests ready and up and running, and I appreciate that. Mercedes, thank you for your work. And Jamal, I'm really looking forward to our viewers now getting a chance to see our new web page, and I think that's going to make a big difference in inviting our folks to watch our show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ForensicWeek.com. It's been brought to you through the cooperation of the Hangout10.com live TV show network. We recommend that you go to the Hangout10.com website and see about other shows like this with valuable content of interest. I want to thank you for watching the show this evening, and we will see you next time on ForensicWeek.com. Thank you. I'm your host, Tom Moriello, coming to you from Laurel, Maryland, CEO of ForensIQ Incorporated and professor at the University of Maryland, Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice and College Department. Our mission is to present real forensic-related content by real forensic professionals, and we go worldwide to find those professionals. Our goal is to broadcast topics of interest valued by an international viewership. Our vision, well-informed practitioners, mentored students, and enlightened